Hey everybody, it's Missy with the Shimmerz education team bringing you another scrapbooking process video. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to be scrapbooking these two black and white photos of my daughter being silly on the couch, and I'm going to be using papers from the Pink Paisley Memorandum collection, and I've got a variety of Shimmerz products out that I will explain as I use them. I'm going to start with this white pattern paper. It's got light gray polka dots on it. And I've got some hazel and ruby tissue paper. I have a roll that I've had for a while that I found at Michael's, and I decided to use some of it. And I just tore some off, and I like this sentiment on this piece that says, if you want to be happy, be. And so I thought I'm going to kind of use that as part of my title and as part of my design element. So I'm just taking some white gesso and coating the background, and I went over the tissue paper just to kind of cement it down so it's there. Now I'm going to start with Dazzlerz, and this is a color called Foiled Again, and it's a light silver color, and I'm using this crazy shaped stencil that I've had for a while. I have never used it. And since my daughter's acting wild and crazy in the pictures, I thought, I'm going to use this wild and crazy stencil. It's just got all kinds of zigzags and crazy scribbles on it. And so I thought that would make a really cool background. And so I'm just going over the background with the Dazzlerz, and you just scrape it over the stencil with your palette knife. It's very easy to do this. And I love this silver color because it's still light, but it still gives a really pretty metallic look to your page. See how shiny it is? I love that. So I've picked out some of the papers that I want to use from the Memorandum collection, and a big challenge that I wanted to do for myself on this layout was to use purple, because I've talked to so many scrapbooking friends, and they all say that purple is probably the hardest color for them to scrapbook with, and I agree. It's there's so many different shades of it, and it's hard to scrapbook. But this collection from Pink Paisley has purple elements in it, and so I thought, you know what? I've got some Creameez and Inklingz in different purple shades, and so I'm going to use purple in this layout. So I just ripped and tore some different papers here as layers, and now I'm going to bring in the purple. So I've got 3 different colors here, but I'm only going to wind up using 2. I'm going to wind up using Creameez in Paradise Punch. That's what I'm mixing up there now. And then I'm going to use some of the Inklingz in Pugnacious Purple. I love the colors, or the names of these colors. They're so funny. Now, I'm using a cheap brush. I thought this was a good brush, but I wound up getting this at Michael's in a pack, and literally it's shedding. So there's a hair falling out of the brush, and there winds up being hair stuck on my layout. So I had to turn the camera off at some point and pick hair off of my layout. Anyway, so I'm just using a brush. I changed brushes here, and just, you know, painting some of the Inklingz and Creameez over the Dazzlerz, and I'm using a paper towel to kind of dab at it so it sinks into the cracks in between the stencil shape, and you can still see the silver on top. Now when you get Creameez and Inklingz, I know we've talked about this before, but they're going to be hard and like a hard cake, and you have to put water in it and let it sit for a few minutes to activate it. So they're not going to be liquid when you get them. And I'm mixing both of these 2 purples here, and they're both a different shade. And remember, the Creameez has a satin finish, and the Inklingz has a shimmery finish, so it's really fun to use both of them. All right, so what I'm going to use now is some Coloringz, and this is a flat spray. This is called Oh Say Can You See, and I'm just spraying it onto some plastic packaging and smudging it down. It's a really pretty teal color, and all of these colors are in this collection, and so I wanted kind of a collage of these different colors on the background. And I've never used these purple paints before, but they are really pretty, and I was really satisfied with how it turned out. Now I'm going to move on to some Vibez, and it looks different on camera, but this is a really pretty golden yellow color. It kind of reminds me of sun. It's not like summer yellow, but it's more of a golden yellow, like a sunny sunset type of color is what I associate it with. And this color is also in the collection, and so I do a little bit of plastic dabbing, and then I just spray it directly on and dab it off, and it's really subtle and really pretty. And all of these colors can be subtle or dark. It just depends on how much you spray it or how much layering you add to this paint or to your paper, or whatever project you're working on. The more you add, the darker it's going to get. And I find that dabbing it with the paper towel does lighten it up a little bit if you dab it while it's still wet. And I love the nozzles on the sprays because they're curved, and I find that it makes it a lot easier to splatter like I just did here with the Coloringz. I like that it's curved. It's almost like a little hook, and makes it easier to splatter. So I'm liking how this is turning out so far. It's a different and unusual color scheme, especially with the purple, but it works. I think it works. So I just keep fiddling with the inks and the paints for a while to get all the colors represented just where I want them, so it looks like you can see all the picture or all of the paint when I put the picture and the papers back down. So I keep testing it to see what you can see once I put the pictures in, because sometimes you make a background and then once you put your photos on, you cover it all up, and I want to make sure that you can see the teals, the purples, and the yellows. Now this is also part of the Pink Paisley Memorandum Collection, and it's a washi tape booklet. And so I'm going to use several strips of different patterns and colors of this tape. And I'm going to use some more black elements since my pictures are black and white and the tissue paper has black in it. You know, I would never have thought that yellowish gold and purple would be a good color scheme together, but it really works in this collection, I think. It's different. So I peel this one piece of washi tape up and decide that I want to add more tissue paper after I've already done all of that mixed media in that section, but it's easy to fix. So I kind of do what I did in the beginning. I just stuck down the tissue paper and went back over it with some gesso just to kind of smooth it out and fade away some of the pattern and to make sure that it's stuck. And I dry it right quick, and then I just go back over it just like I did originally. So it's what I like about mixed media is it's supposed to look messy, and you know, you can fix things if you make a mess or if you forget to add something. You can just keep adding the paste, or you can keep adding the spray or the paint, whatever it may be, and it's just going to layer itself, and it's easy to cover up with something. I think that's what I found in my experience of playing with these paints. And you can see how easy that was for me to add that in, which I probably should have done it in the beginning, but you know, that's not what I wanted to do at the beginning. So now, one thing I have learned is that washi tape does not like to stick once you have used gesso or, you know, any type of mixed media. So I do go back and use my quick dry adhesive to glue down the washi tape to make sure it doesn't curl up at the ends. Or you could stitch it. So this is from another piece of the 6x6 paper, and it's just a little cutout of a camera. And I'm just looking for other little small pieces that I can cut and add in around the layers, and especially for more pops of color. Like I just cut this little, it's a little clipboard, and I mainly am using it because it has that golden yellow color, and I want some more golden yellow over on the left, and so I'm just going to layer that in so you can kind of see a little bit more yellow on that side. I like to make sure that all the colors that I'm using are, you know, well represented around the page, and so like all the purples not on one side and all the teals not on the other side. It's kind of a well-rounded color scheme, I guess you could say. So I kind of go back and do this again. I add another piece of washi tape, redo the gesso, and I don't want to completely cover it because I love this little strip because it's got all the colors in it that are around the page. And so I'm going to come back in with the Creameez and just do a little more dabbing, because now I feel like I need more purple in this upper left corner area. And I'm using a lot of water because I don't want it to be super dark. I want it to be very light. And the more water you add to your brush, you can also use it to splatter with your brush like this, because I don't have any purple sprays. So the only purple I have are in the Inklingz and Creameez. And so if I want splatters, then I'm going to have to use them. And I find that just by dipping your brush into the paint and then dipping it into the water, and you flick the brush, it's very easy to do. Now these are just some bits and pieces from other collections that I've had laying around. A crepe paper chipboard sheet, and then this Webster's Pages sticker sheet. They're just laying around, and I saw that some things were on there that would match what I'm doing here, and so I just decided to make them work. I think the crepe paper it's either Confetti or Craft Market. I can't remember. It's one of those. And I believe that little piece I'm using at the bottom with the silver on it, I think that is from American Crafts. And then I'm going to pull in a couple of my flare buttons from A Flare for Buttons. And that little freckled fawn wood veneer that says Happy. And then some washi tape from my stash because it matches the teal color perfectly. And I just tear off a couple strips to add at the top and the bottom. And I don't think I said the name of the yellow Vibez. It's called Glorious Day. I can't remember if I told you that earlier or not. So I add a little bit of thread, and that's a really pretty teal color. And then I decide, like I've been doing lately with my wood veneer, I'm going to heat emboss it. And so I just take some of my clear embossing ink and some silver powder, and I'm going to make Happy very silvery and shiny. And I think it's going to look nice because the Dazzlerz that I used is a silver color. And I haven't used silver in a while. I usually use gold, but this was perfect. And I also did some black stitching, which you'll probably be able to see in a minute. I did that off camera. This is something else I thought was kind of fun. I took a really tiny brush, dabbed it just a little bit into the Creameez, and then went over the silver embossed wood veneer and gave it a little purpley silvery tint. Yeah, there you can see I did the black stitching at the top and on the bottom and a little bit under the title. And this is one last Shimmerz product I'm going to use, and this is a Vibez. It's called Before Dawn. It's like a dark metallic silver, and I'm just going to use that for some splattering here, and it's going to echo the black and the dark elements that are in there. Now I did go ahead and adhere a couple more flare buttons. This video is going to be very long, so I decided to cut some of that out, but it's just me gluing down flare buttons. Now this is one last thing I wanted to do to add in more of the yellow gold color. I just took a spare piece of white cardstock and spritzed it down, dried it, and it's so shimmery. I wish you could see it in person. It's so sparkly and shimmery. And I'm going to take this little Martha Stewart heart punch that I've had for years, and I'm going to make little hearts. And this is super easy to do. You could do this with any shape you have, any shape of a punch that you have. And this is going to help me get little pops of yellow around the page. And so I just get my little set of tweezers because these hearts are so tiny, and I just scatter them around where I want pops of yellow. And then I glue them down. I have some at the top, some at the bottom, and just all around. Little subtle yellow hearts, and I thought that those were the perfect little touch. I did add a couple more pieces of the tissue paper, the little piece that says turn hearts and the little piece that says smile a lot, and I went back over those with whatever color that I felt needed to be there. And I'm just finishing up here with some more of the purple Creameez at the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to add a couple more splatters, and I believe that's going to wrap it up. Yeah, there's the final page. So please let me know if you have any questions about any of the products that I use or any of the techniques. I'd be more than happy to give you more information. Make sure you make sure you check out the Shimmerz paint store. There's so many fun products, and we have lots of new things coming down the pipe. So please stay tuned, and I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks so much for joining me today.